Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, we're going to talk about why liberals are not happy. Liberals in the Democratic Party just can never be satisfied and what's wrong with them. We're going to try to explore that little question today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. Let's get this thing started. Today is a day that will live forever. We've just hit 100,000 subscribers, and I am one happy man. You did it. And I want to thank you all for doing it, but I'm going to tell you something that you see my big ugly mug all the time, but there are people behind this thing that have always worked with me who you don't see. I've never really talked about because I want to keep them anonymous, but the day I'm going to call their names is I'm going to have to deal with it. About a year and a half ago, I talked to a good friend of mine by the name of Kip Smith. And I said, Kip, I want to do a podcast. Do you know anybody? And Kip said, I know this guy by the name of Woody Watts. Did a podcast down there about a year ago. He's got a great studio. He's a good man. He's a conservative like you. Let me give him a call. Next thing I know, next day, I got a call from Mr. Woody Watts. And me and Woody had a conversation. He said, Vince, I know about your stuff. I like what you're doing. Come on down here and let's get to work. And Woody and I shook hands, and we've been working together ever since. And this guy has been a stone cold pro. He's done everything I've ever asked him to do. He's a true blue believer, a Christian, a patriot. And I love the guy, and he's the first guy that I want to thank. Him down here at Media Squatch here in Bedford. They do great work. They're ace organization, and I love him like a brother. So thank you, Woody, for what you've done to get us 100,000, man, and your staff. Thank y'all. April Chapman. April showed up when we were about halfway through this thing, and she said, I have some ideas to make the show better. I have ideas to mass produce what you're doing. Let me manage your brand, and we'll put you over the top. We agreed. April Chapman took over. She and her Standard House Media grabbed hold to our brand, and it took off like a shot. And April's worked hard. She's worked tirelessly to make this show a success. Her and her family, her good husband, Robert, her 4 children, they are an amazing, amazing family. She has an amazing company, Standard House Media. My good friend, Henry Hollywood Morris, and his beautiful wife, Kris, right with me all the way. Henry is a videographer. Never met a better man in this world. He and his wife, Kris, Dr. Kris. And she is a doctor, not no fake doctor like Martin Luther King Jr. Real Dr. Kris. He has a beautiful wife, beautiful life. He's a good man. Henry, thank you and Kris for all that you've done. And then it's my family. My brothers and my sisters, about 70% of the stuff that I cover, they send to me. I'm not going to call their names because I want to get them fired from their jobs. So everybody know who they are. I'm just not going to make it legitimate. I want to thank y'all. I know it's like the Oscars here, but this is a big deal. We crossed over 100,000. Less than 0.5% of all YouTube channels get to this point. And we did it in less than 2 years, but it usually takes people about 6 or 7 years to get there. So it puts us really in the upper echelons of YouTube channels. We're like maybe 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 that have gotten to this point so fast. But mostly because you've shared, you've commented, you've subscribed, you've shared us with friends. Some of you started from the beginning. I want to thank you. My heart goes out to you. Thank you so very much. We've done 100,000. Now, we're going for 1 million. So thank you so much. Let us get to the subject at hand. But thank you and thank God more than anything else, because we put him here first. It's not a show that we don't talk about Jesus Christ and how we need to get back to him, how everything works through him. It's not going to be politics. We use Jesus Christ to recognize the wretchedness of politics and politicians so that we can get away from them. Because we are not going to depend on man for what we get. We depend on Jesus Christ and God. And he will tell us, stay away from these people. They're bad, they're no good. And if you listen, you'll succeed. And if not, these people will destroy you. So this is why I'm here today. I'm here to give you the direction, to tell you who to look out for, who to stay away from. Because they set traps, they set snares, and they want to destroy you. Now let's get on with it. So today I'm going to talk about this phenomenon that with all the power and all the money we've spent, liberals are still upset. What did Martin Luther King Jr. say? You ask us, when will we be satisfied? We will never be satisfied. Not until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. And what have I always told you that? That's a fancy way of saying never. And them jokers are never satisfied. We have spent $35 trillion since the Great Society started in giving away free stuff. The gross product of America last year was about $30 trillion. That means all the crap America made last year. And people still ain't happy. They still complaining. Matter of fact, the Democratic Party has done such a good job of addicting Americans to free stuff. Then when the SNAP program started running out, people had to start stealing.
Get it on, let's go, let's go. Cut them stamps off and folks lost it, man. Look behind me, carts full, running out the door, people grabbing whatever they can. We ain't never seen it like this.
Police coming.
They couldn't fend for themselves. Yeah, I tell you what, it's just like a little dog. You got him trained in the house, right? Put his behind outside and see what happens to him. He'll be clawing at the door. But you got yourself a stray dog, he's going to try to break out the house. As soon as you open the door, he's going to run out that door, and that sucker's going to be fine. They have literally put y'all back on the plantation. In order to be free, you must be brave. That's why at the end of our Star Spangled Banner, they asked the question, does that Star Spangled Banner still yet wave over the land of the free and home of the brave? So why are liberals not happy? Well, there was this study done. One of my sisters again sent it to me. And it's interesting. This study kind of proved that racism was imaginary. How did it do that? They took these women and they say, we're going to do an experiment. We want to see if people are prejudiced against people with scars on their faces. And so they put these artificial scars on these people's faces and would send them into job interviews. And then when the person left the mirror, after they put the scar on them, they said, hey, turn it around here, let me make the scar more pronounced, let me fix it up. And they wiped the scar off without them knowing it. And they sent the people into the interview room with no scar on their face, but the people thinking that it was. And it's amazing what they found. You can see it here.
They did an experiment with a group of women and they put scars on their faces and they told these women that they're going into a job interview to find out whether people with facial disfigurements face discrimination. They showed them the scars in the mirror. The women saw themselves with these scars, and as they led them out of the room, they said, we're just going to touch it up a little bit. And as they touched it up, they removed the scarring completely. So the women went into the job interview thinking that they are scarred, but actually being their normal selves. Those women then came back reporting massively increased level of discrimination. Many of them came back with comments that the interviewer had made that they felt were referencing their facial disfigurements. If you preach to people constantly that we're all oppressed, that we're all being discriminated against at different levels, that because I'm an immigrant, I'm automatically disadvantaged, that because I have dark skin, I'm automatically disadvantaged, then that primes people to look for that. We have to teach young people in particular that they're strong, that they're capable, that they're able to overcome adversity, not that they're victims.
Now, isn't that amazing? It was all in their minds, just like racism is all in your mind. When you go in and you don't get the job, you're going to assume that it was race. Why would you assume that? Because Martin Luther King Jr. said he was dreaming about a day that you wouldn't be judged by the color of your skin, like you were. He was dreaming about the day you'd be judged by the content of your character. You are going to be judged by the content of your character. There's no escaping it. Even if you were black back then, some black folks did well. I talked to black people, my dad included. They said white folks never discriminated against him. He couldn't take a thing but time. I talked to old black folks and say, hey man, tell me about the time you discriminated against by white folks. Most of the time they tell me I can't come up with it. If anything, they help me. Your character is going to always determine what happens to you in life. I can say the same thing about my life. Character. You know what? I carry myself in a certain way. I treat people a certain way, and you bring what you give off. You attract what you give off. And most people want to be disrespectful. They want to be crude. They want to be mean. And they don't want to be treated nicely and with respect, and it doesn't work. So what have you got? You got a lot of these women now. And it's sad because I saw this on the news the other day. This woman was talking about she was afraid that SNAP benefits were going to get turned off. And she had 3 children. And the fathers were gone. And she was a pretty young lady, and she was scared. She was sitting there crying. And I said, this child ain't supposed to be living like this. Feminism told her that this was the proper way to live. Get pregnant, not get married, and have to raise children on your own. Man, that's insanity. Why would a woman want to raise children on her own without the help of a father? I know that if I gotta have daughters, if their mother left or died, man, I gotta call my sisters. I gotta get help. I can't be raising those girls by myself. It is hubris and insanity for me to think so. But you have women that actually believe that they don't need help in raising a boy. I don't need no man. And that's why these boys are either thugs or they're gay. Hardly any of them are right in the middle like they're supposed to be. Why? Because there's no balance. No father on this end, no mother on this end. Mothers trying to raise boys, and a lot of these mothers are doing the best that they can. But you know what? Back when I was growing up, if a child happened to be born and the mother and father was not together, the mother would leave that child with her mother and father because that mother and father took responsibility for their daughter having a child out of wedlock. And they would raise that child, and many times that child grew up in that household like he was brothers and sisters with his aunts and uncles. He was just one of the children. I saw a lot of that growing up. And those boys grew up and they would fight. Clarence Thomas was like that. The Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, yeah. I think Clarence Thomas might saw his dad once or twice in his life, if any. But Clarence Thomas's mother got divorced, and Clarence Thomas was raised in the house with his grandfather. He wrote his book was called My Grandfather's Son, and he talked about the lessons he was taught by his grandfather. His mother knew that she could not raise a boy, and she left him with her father. And Clarence Thomas's grandfather, that old man did not play, and he raised him. But we have a society now that's actually telling these young ladies that you don't need that. They're telling these young girls to go out and act like men. They're telling them to have a high body count, to go out there and sleep around. And look, and this is not, I'm not saying this is right, but when it comes down to sex, with men, it's usually kind of transactional, but with women, it's really, really emotional. And when women start messing around with a whole lot of men, it breaks something in them. The emotional tie that they can have for their husband and for their children is broken. And they become narcissists. And it becomes all about them. They don't stay married. They won't take care of their children. The marriage becomes all about them. And then you see this all through the black community more than anything, and mostly now in a lot of white communities now where women are getting married 3 and 4, 5 times, having 3 or 4, 5, 6 baby daddies, and the society is suffering and America is dying as a nation. That's the crux of the matter. People are dying young, and America is dying as a nation. And the politicians don't know what to do about it, and I don't know if they can. The only thing they can do something about it is going back to Christ. He tells us how to live. What does they tell us? What do they tell us? This basic, unalienable fact. It says that if you get married before you have a child, you graduate high school and work full time, you'll never be in poverty in the United States of America. 90% of the times you will never live in poverty. You hear that? Get married before you have a child, graduate high school, not college, high school, and work full time. You won't be poor in the United States of America. And the Democratic Party fights against all of it. Instead, they tell these women to submitting to your husband is a sign of weakness. No, you're supposed to be in the house fighting. You're supposed to have 2 quarterbacks. You're supposed to quarrel out everything. How the hell can you have a family if you don't have one somebody making the decisions, having one leader? Yeah, there can be a division of labor, but when there's loggerheads, you got to say, somebody make a decision. There's so many divorces now because of that pride. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do. They tell these young women to be promiscuous, and all of these rappers and stuff they put out there telling them to be promiscuous, acting like hoes and running around with high body counts and talking about how many men they sleep. It's just, God, man, some of the songs are horrible. Some of the things these young girls be saying. And the young children listen to them, and they then mimic them, and then their lives fall apart. And they have, and instead of using societal pressure like you used to ensure that people fall in line and act correctly. You know, there was a standard of expectation that bound people together. And this has led to a subtle erosion of society in our culture. We used to have, dignity. We used to have restraint. We used to have mutual respect. Now we have informality. We have vulgarity. And we have lower expectations. We used to dress when we went into in the public. We used to dress with suits and ties and dresses, and we looked nice because we respected people and we respected ourselves. Out of hell with that. Yeah, it was a little bit uncomfortable, but you said I got to deal with the uncomfortability because I have to respect myself and I have to respect other people. But out of hell with that, I want comfort. You know what that means? It's all about me. It's not about you. I don't care what you see. I don't care how you like it. I don't care if it does make you uncomfortable. It's about me. That's a narcissism. A society cannot survive without manners, without caring about what your neighbor feels on things. This is liberalism one-on-one. Me, 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 me. What I want, my truth. And when you think like that, you can never, ever turn to Jesus Christ and say, what do you want me to do? Whenever they ask Jesus about himself, he said, I'm here to do my Father's will. Something bigger than myself. When a man works, I'm working for my family. I'm not working for the boss, man. I'm working for my family. I'm not even working for me. I'm working for my family. I have to buy shoes for my children and my wife before I buy myself a pair. I have to pay I have to keep the heat on and keep the lights on and keep a roof because my children and my wife are there all the time. I got to work because I got to feed them. It's bigger than you. But when it comes down to these young people today, and it comes down to these liberals, it's all about them. Why do you have an abortion? Why do women having 4 or 5 abortions? Them. Why do they sleep with men knowing that sleep with a man means you get pregnant? Because it's about them. They want to sleep around, and then they want to hold the child accountable for what they've done. They've lied to these young women. And there's no accountability. Like the guy said on the movie As Good as It Gets. He was a writer. And they asked Jack Nicholson, the writer, his woman said, how do you write women so well? And he said, I take a man. And I take her all reason and accountability.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man. And I take away reason and accountability.
And that is a woman. No reason and no accountability. And then society has given people that really are emotional this much power and this authority and this much authority. And they want to take a man out that would temper that. And you have chaos. And then you have a man who's supposed to be logical, and now you made him emotional like a woman. And you got 2 emotional people in a situation, and this is why you got to call the damn police all the time because they're fighting. Nobody got enough sense to calm it down. Chill it out. That's why liberals are not happy. And then the main thing about liberals that keep them unhappy is this. What's amazing? These stupid jokers really think that it's up to you to make them happy. You don't make me happy. Dude, It is no person in the world that can make you happy. As Abraham Lincoln said, he finds out that most people are about as happy as they want to be. Happiness, just like slavery and just like hell, is a choice. If you're waiting for a human being to make you happy, you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life because he doesn't have the ability to do so. Jesus Christ said, "My peace I leave with you." He said, "If you believe in me, I will keep you in perfect peace, a peace that transcends all understanding." Liberalism says there is no God. They don't believe in God. They're God. It's not believing in anything higher than themselves. They're it. You know, do happy people riot? Do happy people burn up their own businesses? Do happy people murder their own children? Do happy people have to take drugs and fentanyl and have safe drug injection centers? Do happy people march all the way from Venezuela through Central America, through Mexico to get to America? No, they don't. So what does the left do to make their people victims? Here's a list. They produce envy, jealousy, pride, especially pride. They produce anger, vulgarity, sloth, and victimization. And then hate and entitlement. And this leads to theft, murder, and damnation. That's the left. The cities are falling apart. Their families fall apart. They live in poverty, death, and despair in prison. They're devoid of God. They're devoid of any respect. They're pitied. They're looked down upon. Nevertheless, they march and they fight because misery loves company, and they want to take everything you got so you can be where they are. And we say no. No. We'll stay in our suburbs. Thank you. And we'll take care of our children. We'll pray to our God. We'll help you as much as we possibly can, all of you that want to be helped, because I'm going to tell you what, Jesus said that if you walk up to a city and they do not want to accept this ministry, he said, shake the dust off your feet. There's just some people you just can't help. Rich young ruler walks up to Jesus Christ and said, Lord, how can I have eternal life? Jesus gave him a list of things they used to do, commandments. He said, I've done all that since my birth. He said, okay, if you'll be perfect, take everything you got, sell it, and follow me. Rich young ruler, in other words, said, hell with you, I'm gone. Think about this now. This joker looking at God himself, and God said, hey, man, I give you eternal life, just sell yourself. Hell no. Man, you crazy. If you can't save that sucker, now you know there are people down in the United States of America right now that you can't save. There are people you can go down to the ghetto right now and say, hey, man, yeah, I'll give you $20,000 to pull your child out of a bad public school and send him to a good private school if you just choose to do it. Hell no. Why not? Hey, man, you need a job? Yeah, I train you for free, and I get you a job making about $60,000 a year after about 6 weeks of training. Do you want to do it? Hell no. Young lady, if you don't want to have a baby, just take this birth control pill every day, and you don't have to worry about getting pregnant until you get married. I don't want to take no birth control pill. What do you do with it? You can't do anything with it. It's a reprobate mind. And with liberalism, I can tell you this, player. If you stay with this vicious, dirty, anti-Christian ideology and keep on letting these Democrats push you into it, you're going to end up in an early grave, in an insane asylum, or living like a ghetto hood rat like most of them are. But I believe you're going to come out of it. I know some of you are not going to listen. You know, if you're not, I'm just going to stay away from you. Like I say, if you listen to me, that's cool. If you come try to take anything from me, I'm going to just, you know, Jesus is my third aid. I'm going to just fan the trigger on you. Be done with it. Hope it never comes to that. But I'm not going to be your pinata. I'm not going to be your victim. And I hope nobody else out there will. And that's why Democrats want to take the Second Amendment so they can send all of these ghetto dwellers out to the ghetto and come take what we got. Ain't going to happen, Captain. So my advice is you to get off the Democratic Party plantation, go out there and find yourself a job. If you're on dope, get off of it. Find one of your baby's daddies and get married. Live the American dream. Work full time. Graduate high school. Get married. You won't be poor in America. That's how you get and survive liberalism. And this is how you get everything you want in America, and that's how you remain happy. It's simple. Follow this template. And your life will be beautiful. And I'm going to keep bringing this to you because I'm here to wake you up. Hope I did you some good today. And thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for supporting this channel. Thank you all for your prayers. Now let's go. Let's go for 1 million. And we're going to keep rolling until we get there. So thank you. And join me again for another Vince Everett Ellison show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website. And on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got t-shirts, we got caps. You got my books, my documentaries. You got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.